You know, you'd think after tens of thousands of years and being called the Deceiver, Kil'jaeden would have been like, oh, hey, thanks for making it to my ship. By the way, I hit the self-destruct button, bye, and then just bounces, right? Hey, it's Soul. It's June 23rd, 2017. This is Warcraft Weekly. Let's do this. So how was your week, everyone? And this time, you're going to pay attention because I'm going to do another WoW token giveaway. So I wanted to celebrate getting 6,000 subs, and I forgot to do it last week. And, well, I'm really happy about it. I've had pretty much a good week, so I'd love to hear from everyone. How was your week? Share your stories. Share, like, your wins, your losses, your drama, whatever it is. The most interesting one is going to win a WoW token. Now, before I go any further than that, regarding like the actual giveaway, like the last time I did a giveaway, it turned out that WoW tokens were sold out at the time. So I gave that person, you know, I gave the winner, I think it was Alterius X, something like that. I gave him enough gold to get a token at the time, and then I think the price went up, and I offered to give him more, but he was like, nah, screw it, man, I'm tough shit. I can make the gold myself. So that's totally fine. So this time around, I just want to make it clear that yes, I will give you enough gold to get a WoW token, but obviously I can't guarantee that a WoW token is going to be in stock at the time. So anyway, it's available for US realms. Share your story. If you get chosen, you get a WoW token, just come find me. We'll make a trade, and that's it. And as for the 6,000 subs, why is it 6,000? Well, because who cares? People are going to get a WoW token for it. But I'm going to save that sort of praise and whatnot for the end, alright? Unfortunately, I do not have a featured YouTuber. I did not do enough research on my own, and I didn't notice any responses from folks about, you know, a small YouTuber that, you know, you think you should get more attention. At least one that I haven't already featured before. The last one that I mentioned, or the last one that I saw, it was someone that I had already mentioned in a previous video, and who knows, maybe I'll do a follow-up on them to see like how they're doing. But I'd rather hear from you folks, but I would rather get your folks' help on what are some small YouTubers, like smaller than my channel, or at least around the size of my channel, that you think should get a whole lot more attention. I have certain agendas, and one of them is to help promote and elevate the WoW YouTube community, or, well, the WoW content creator community. But if you know anyone that should get some love, and Ophi Games, I saw your message, but maybe next time, okay? But at least you got a shout right now. Hey. Send them my way. I'll take a look at them and try to give them a bump. So now for some quick PSAs. Chances are by the time this video is published, or heck, by the time you watch this, the Reddit AMA with the WoW developers has probably ended, or it might be going, I don't know, let's just assume that it's going to be over. If you go over to reddit.com/wow, you should see an AMA thread with a whole bunch of questions and answers and responses from the WoW developer team regarding 725, regarding class changes, and all sorts of stuff. This was kind of a response to the critique about the most previous Q&A with Paul Cubitt about how the 725 patch Q&A wasn't really all about class changes and things like that, because several Q&As ago, it was about class changes, and it was, well, to be honest, for me, it was a very boring kind of Q&A, because they didn't really talk about anything that was relevant for me, because at the time, Protection Paladins, you know, that is my thing, and I didn't hear anything about it, so I'm like, this Q&A sucks. It is useless. I'd rather just get like a bullet point list or something like that. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already, or otherwise double check MMO Champion or what have you for different responses, or who knows, I might post something about, you know, like a response either over the weekend. No, I'm not going to do it over the weekend. You might see something from me on Monday about how that went down. Also, the Midsummer Fire Festival is on. It happened just a couple days ago, and it's going to go on until July 5th. All right, so there are a couple, well, there aren't really a whole lot of new events, but there are a lot of new fires to discover, and as well as some new toys that let you
light yourself on fire.
I don't know why you want to light yourself on fire. There's all sorts of other stupid things you can do to yourself, like turn yourself into an Eridar, or turn yourself into a little tiny gnome thing with horns. And in semi-related news, because people love to make this comparison, on the Diablo 3 side of things, the Necromancer class is going to be released next week on June 27th. So what's going to happen is that this is paid additional content. It's going to cost $15 or $0 if you happen to have a WoW token on you, hey, and you'll get access to the Necromancer class. If you're interested, but you're kind of on the fence on whether or not you want to throw down the $15, I'm going to be doing a stream. I mean, there's a bunch of people that are probably doing streams on it right now, but I'm going to be doing a stream or recording or whatever on it, or what I think about this class. sometime on Tuesday or sometime next week, so stay tuned for that. An event that surprised absolutely no one. Blizzard kind of dropped the ball once again when it came down to those items that help you get you that legendary thing to upgrade your legendaries to item level 970. Now the goof was on two fronts, which we're also familiar with. One is the fact that not everyone was able to get their initial 20 or so Worthing Essence from their Mythic Weekly Chest of Disappointment. The other, which was fixed a little bit more recently, was the fact that whenever you turn in that quest, if you happen to have excess essence, you lose that stuff, and that kind of sucked. Thankfully, those issues are mostly resolved now, and there's been a hotfix that lets you walk into your order hall, and then ta-da, those Writhing Essence turn into a currency, something that player feedback and player sentiment has been kind of trumpeting for a while, ever since we knew that these upgrades were going to come back, and people were like, you know that's just going to happen again, right? Even though Blizzard was like, no way it's going to happen. We got this, guys. We're totally on top of it. 100 bajillion%. And like the fake Jeremy Fiesel said, we promise. Back on the WoW front, the Tomb of Sargeras raid has been released, and everything's dead. Damn. I mean, it was expected, even though they're like pugs that are clearing heroic and what have you. I mean, to be honest, if you get the right group, you get the right group, right? It's not like it has to be a group of people that must know each other. You know, they can be pugs. That's definitely possible. It does seem kind of weird, or maybe I'm a little bit more conscious about it. The conversations that talk about, oh, well, gosh, you know, the raid is puggable on normal. It's so easy. Why even gate the LFR version of the raid? So I'm interested to hear what some of you think about it. Let me reiterate, you know, should LFR still be gated, knowing that, you know, the rest, you know, like the normal mode is like kind of easy? I mean, what are we waiting for at this point? I know that there's some arguments that talk about, oh, it's because of like artificial gating, which is something that I never really believed it. The whole thing about a way to prolong subscriptions and things like that. And my main reason behind that is, well, if you do want to wait, if that is how you want to roll, why don't you just unsub and then come back in August or so when everything's unlocked? Obviously, if people were really mad about that, then they would in fact unsub and then come back, and Blizzard would probably know that. They'd be able to see that in their many little metrics that they have. And from there, they would have released some statement, well, based on feedback, based on player feedback, we decided to listen to the players, and we wanted to let LFR be available, you know, right from the get-go. Yay, we're so good. I don't buy it, because if that scenario would have happened, it definitely would have happened already. I mean, this is not the first time that LFR has been delayed for the sake of whatever it is that they're delaying it for. At any rate, that big red motherfucker's dead, and now we have like the best skybox ever. I mean, this is... oh, it's awesome. I had to like make some really cool screenshots and little video things of it, of doing a cool pose. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, it feels good. And the raid, yeah, that felt good too. I mean, my guild only killed it on normal. We happened to kill the first boss on heroic. We had like 15 minutes left, and we're like, hey, let's kill it really quick, and we did. And that felt really great. But here's my initial knee-jerk reactions to the raid content itself. One is that place is fucking big. You get lost so damn easily, and I know that it was my first time in there, so of course it's going to feel a little bit disorienting, and it's going to feel kind of awkward because there's all these different paths you can go, and like I said, it can get confusing, but this seems especially confusing. This is unlike other raids where you have very defined walls, you have very defined paths, and here you can like fall off stuff, you can just totally get lost, and it'll take several minutes for everyone to get together. Corpse running is a pain in the ass. And the corridors and the rooms, a lot of them can be pretty compact. Like, I mean, it has a very natural feel to it at the same time. But then again, you're like, oh man, I'm trying to see shit, and you know, I was having a little bit of trouble. I guess I should say that I'm happy with the encounter so far, but I can't really say it either because, well, I only did it on normal, so that doesn't count. And of course, some people will say that heroic doesn't count either, that everything matters in mythic, and that's a valid argument. But not everyone does mythic, or heroic, or normal. Not everyone raids, actually. So I'll still say the encounters are good. There are familiar mechanics, there are some new things, there's some cool effects. I'd say that for fresh folks, casual players, that there is a pretty decent challenge to be had in the raid in the raid itself. Now, of course, there's kind of ups and downs, there's some difficulty spikes here and there, but overall, you get a pretty good progression curve of it being a little bit harder, Kill Jaden I found to be quite a challenge, mostly for me because I'm a paladin tank, and there are certain mechanics to that fight that make it a little bit harder for me to mitigate damage as opposed to, let's say, a druid tank or any other tank that can pop a pretty frequent cooldown whenever they want. For me, aside from popping a several minute cooldown, I have to go up to the guy or go up to someone and hit them with my shield, hit them in the face, and then my active mitigation goes off. But anyway, it was still a lot of fun. We still managed to kill it. I'm very proud of myself and the team. So, we're cool stuff. So he's dead. Kill Jaden is dead. After so many freaking years and story and him being like this mysterious boogeyman, he goes out kind of like a punk. I think he kind of went out like a punk. I mean, before all of this, it's like, oh man, this guy's one scary dude. He's huge, he's got wings, he's like super red, unlike his buddy Archimon, who's like a little pale thing. It just makes you think that Kill Jaden's like way worse, right? But then in the end, when Kill Jaden's on his knees and like Velen's like, oh, they're sharing a tender moment, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. And towards the very, very end, Velen's like, oh, I'm sorry, good night, sweet prince. And then boosh, that's it, he's just gone. And Illidan, man, oh, Illidan, dude. And it's funny, I kind of like this. I mean, you think that with the way the Legion story has played out so, up until this point where it started off as, oh, we have to get the Pillars of Creation so we can stop the Legion from invading. And then all of a sudden, Illidan, he's like jumping in like late in the game. He's like, oh, so what you guys doing? Oh, you're doing this? No, fuck that. I got a better idea. He's like, and he's popping that little Hex crystal. And I know, folks, I'm very grateful. You've corrected me many, many times as to what it is. I forgot the name, but I know exactly what it is. He straight up takes all those plans and turns it into nothing. It's like if Illidan was around at the start of Legion, he would have been like, no, fuck that plan. No, we're going to go right into the tomb. We're going to take a portal over to the spaceship. I'm going to pop this thing, and then we're just going to get right to the end game, dude. I got this. You almost think that Blizzard had kind of changed their plans around at the last minute, but I don't think so. I think this was kind of an intentional thing to just kind of pull the rug up from under everyone's feet to just kind of steer the story towards him. His cool plan to open up a big rift and put Argus in like line of sight. Because last night after I got that kill, I'm looking around the sky, I see Argus over there, but I don't see like the lines of this opening rift. I just see like clear sky and Argus, which makes me wonder, how big is this rift now? I think it's getting big to the point where like, how do we close it? Like after we're done with Argus and everything, what do we do? I mean, there's still like a big ass rift that leads us like really, really close to the Twisted Nether, which is presumably where Sargeras is, like just kind of chilling, hanging out. So I don't want to hear stupid shit like, oh my god, we have to use the power of our artifacts to close the rift. I would die if... No, I won't die because that might actually happen. So I don't really want to die. But I would be pretty upset if that turns out that's what happens. It's like, hold up your weapon, guys. With the power of friendship and our fancy weapons, we're gonna save the world. I don't want that to happen. I really don't want that to happen. But let's pull back a little bit with the last item that I have for the day, and it's about Kill Jaden being gone. Now, Kill Jaden is, he was one of the two main Eridar dudes that was helping run the Burning Legion for Sargeras. With him gone, that sets the stage for a huge Legion defeat. Now, I don't think that Sargeras is going to outright die. I don't think that there's any facility that, that there's any scenario that can make that happen, aside from, I don't know, Azeroth herself or itself just sticking out a giant sword from under the planet and then boom, stabbing him in the chest. I don't think that's going to happen, at least in the Legion expansion. But for effectively going to assault Argus and pretty much cripple or stop the Legion advance for an indefinite amount of time, at least like plot-wise, who's still going to be standing in the way of the champions of Azeroth? And there aren't too many names to drop. I mean, there are some notable demons that we still haven't seen yet and still haven't made their appearance that we thought would have definitely made their appearance by now, but I guess we're just saving the best for last. On the Eridar side of things though, there aren't a whole lot of named Eridar that are left, except one that comes off the top of my head. His name is Talgath. Talgath is the one who found the Draenei over in Draenor, well, kind of way back in the day. Talgath was like, hey, I'm gonna stomp these motherfuckers like right now, let's do this. But his bosses were like, no, pull back for now, we got something else in mind. And I'm sure Talgath was like, dude, what? They're like right there, I can like fireball them or, you know, drop an arcane bomb or something. I could stop these guys right now. So if there are any new Eridar that we're going to introduce, or if Sargeras is gonna be like, well, shit, I ran out of Eridar, I need some more. Come on, show me what you got. And Talgath's like, dude, me, choose me. You know, he might be a named boss or a new villain to introduce into the greater Warcraft story. But he might be a boss, and we might just stomp him too. So that's it for Warcraft Weekly, and I want to give a very special thanks to my first 2 patrons on Patreon. That's Christian and Rave, and I want to thank you two so very much, because I didn't even talk about Patreon until like right this second. So I'm going to do channel update videos soon, really soon, where I do that whole thing where I make my case and I kind of beg for money because I'm poor. But these two reached out, I'm loving the feedback, and it makes me feel really good that there are people that are willing to like throw down for me. It means a lot, you two, and I'm grateful. Thank you. But I also want to thank everyone who's recently joined the channel and subscribed. I'm super grateful that you're able to join us and be a part of the conversation and part of this small little community of ours. All of your support is literally everything to this channel. So if you want to continue supporting this channel, do it in the way that you do best. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Let me know how your week was, and every now and then I give a WoW token for it. Or of course, leave a donation or become a patron. I love doing what I do and I don't want to stop, so don't let me. As usual, I'll be out for the weekend, but I'll be looking at comments and responding to all of you. You all have a great, safe, and cool weekend. I'm Soul. Stay breezy, guys. Back. Ow.